Welcome to the Days of Thunder NASCAR podcast with Cruz.
We are joined by Cup champion and driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang for Team Penske, Joey Logano. Joey, I hope you're having a great day so far. Thank you again for joining us on the podcast today. But you had a crazy race at Texas Motor Speedway. You came home 11th, but was it as chaotic in the car as it looked like it was just watching it on TV last weekend?
There was quite a few hairy moments, if you want to say that, out there for sure. It's pretty intense. Gosh, I wish we had a little better finish than 11th. It looked like at one point we were in position to win the race and just didn't have a few things go our direction like we really needed to at the end. But we got out of there much better than some others, so we'll take that and move on.
So, Joey, for those who might not know, what inspired you to pursue a career in racing, and how did you get started?
Well, probably like most other kids that jump into something that they love, is you just learn to love it when you're a kid. I had race car, Hot Wheels cars, a race car bed, loved cars in general as a child, and got a go-kart for Christmas one year, and that was it. I loved driving it every day I got home, and quite frankly, it was the one thing I was really good at. So I tried the other sports. This was it for me. So we kind of focused in on that and had some fun with it, and it all ended up working out pretty well so far.
You know, being in the NASCAR series, it requires physical and mental strength. Joey, can you share some insights into your training regimen and how you stay so mentally focused?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is just repetition and doing it, right? But for a race car driver, it's really hard to do that. You can't just get in a race car every day and drive it around. Like, it's impossible. And with our rules that NASCAR has, we can't do that. So, for us, physically training, we do a lot outside in the summertime. It's hot out. A lot of, high intensity, high heart rate, long period of time type things, right? You don't have to be, King Kong. You don't have to be, bulked up to drive a race car. But you got to be able to do it for a very long time, and you can't afford to make mistakes, right? Mental errors are really what kills us. So the more physically fit you are, the more mentally engaged you can be over a long period of time, and especially with the heat that's inside these race cars, those are kind of the main things, in general, that we try to do while we're training.
Now, beyond the thrills of racing, what do you enjoy most about being a part of the NASCAR community?
Winning. That's it. At this point in my career, I've been doing this for 16 years. We do it to win. That is the main reason. The cool factor of being a race car driver is still there, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing that beats winning. That's really what it's about.
You can't win them all. NASCAR is pretty competitive, but how do you handle setbacks or disappointments, and what keeps you motivated during those challenging times throughout the season?
Racing is, just like all sports, right? You win or you lose, and the best part about it is just always next week. And you have the opportunity to redeem yourself. But, the challenges that come, your way in sports takes a lot of risk. It takes the willingness to have a bad day sometimes, right? The willingness to make mistakes, try crazy things outside the box, really forces you outside of your comfort zone that not every job really allows you to do. So I appreciate that. Now, there is days that you make mistakes and they hurt. Don't get me wrong, because a lot of times the finger will point at the driver, but it's also one of those things that you learn to be able to handle that pressure and be able to, look at the positives and move on to the next race all the time.
The Cup Series making their first stop at Talladega Motor Speedway this season. Joey, you have 3 wins, 9 top 5s, and 11 top 10s. Those races can be pretty chaotic, but how do you guys survive it and get that first win of the season?
It's chaos for sure there. We just got to execute everything perfectly. We've had some really fast super speedway cars this year. Being on the pole for the Daytona 500 shows that we had speed in our car and in position to win that race just a few laps to go before we got caught up in a wreck. So I feel really good about our chances this weekend, a car that we can probably go out there and win with for sure. So just got to execute the details really, really well. That's what it's going to be about.
Now, another track the Cup Series is returning to that you've had multiple wins at and some really strong finishes is Kansas Speedway. That's happening May 5th for the Advent Health 400. How do you guys get another great finish or even a win? And what are some challenges you guys have been facing with this next-gen car at that speedway?
Yeah, I think Kansas has been it's kind of been love-hate for me there. The past has been a really, really good racetrack for us. Here recently, we've had a little bit more struggles trying to find the speed in the car ever since we went to this next-gen car. So I do feel like, coming off the Texas last, we found some speed in our car. So I feel a little bit more confident going there than we did going into last week. So, it's a fun racetrack for sure. The fans seem to love it as well. It's a track that's wide and cars run up by the wall. And definitely challenging for the drivers to move around. But I think it's always fun, some good racing.
Absolutely. I think that track's the older it's getting, the better the racing seems to be getting on that surface.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, looking forward to that one.
At every racetrack.
Yeah.
Right. The older the asphalt, the better the race is.
Now, Joey, off the track, you and your family are involved in the efforts to the Joey Logano Foundation. Can you tell us more about the foundation and its mission?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, everyone's got to have a why, what you do in your life and the impact that you make. And for us, we realize that, driving in circles may be really cool, but at the end of the day, trophies are just empty cups if you don't do anything with them. And God's given me this incredible platform to speak to many people and try to inspire them to live a life of generosity. And our hearts were really really brought towards foster kids. My wife's mom was a foster kid, and then her uncle and aunt foster 4 amazing kids and adopted them now. And, our hearts were just drawn that way because kids, it's not of their own doing, right? They got put into situations that they really didn't have a choice about. And you see some of the challenges that not only the kids go through, but the foster families go through and the parents to make everything work. And so we work with a lot of great organizations that help these people and families and kids and give them the tools and the resources they need to become a contributing member of society, right? That's the goal. And so we've been doing it for 8 years and given millions and millions of dollars away thanks to our amazing supporters, our great race fans, our sponsors that have understood where our hearts are and want to help out. And the amount of families that we've helped is probably hard to even register at this point. So it's really been a fun experience and really the reason why we do everything.
Absolutely love that, Joey. Get more details on that foundation, by the way, on his social media pages. Joey, we are rooting for you this weekend at Talladega Motor Speedway. Hopefully you can get that 4th win, and we look forward to seeing you at Kansas Speedway on May 5th. Thanks for your time today, champ. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Joey Logano, Cup champion and driver of the number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang for Team Penske.
Thanks for listening to Cruise on the Days of Thunder podcast. Find out more NASCAR info at thebull1051.com.